Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Come on out, 1965, them boys were called upon. Some fist-fighting cowboys in them jungles of Vietnam. I'm an airborne man, baby. Drop me anywhere you please. Yeah, I'm one mean motherfucker. Don't you never double-cross me. 19 years old, doing the bidding for Uncle Sam. Desert boots strapped on my feet, machine gun in my head. I'm an airborne man, baby. Drop me anywhere you please. Y'all, I'm one mean motherfucker. Don't you never double cross me. Come on now. Strapped across my vest, 800 more, and I'm gonna plug one in your chest. I'm an airborne man, baby. Drop me anywhere you please. Y'all, I'm one mean motherfucker. Don't you never double cross me. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm one mean motherfucker. Don't you never. I'm a mean motherfucker. Don't you never. I'm a mean motherfucker. So don't you never double cross me.
Wear a condom? We're in Fayetteville. No one gets STDs here.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? It's just Radar tonight. It's good, though. It's all good, man. It's me and the audience, and I appreciate that. TZ has some like very last minute traffic issues getting home, so don't want her to get in a wreck and get her back at all. So she's gonna chill out, enjoy her family a little bit, and you're gonna get me for about an hour. So I'll make it quick tonight. Give you guys a heads up. Probably after December, the first Wednesday in December, I'll be pretty busy on Wednesday nights. So we're going to be having shorter shows. We're not going to have our 2.5, 3 hour fucking bitch-a-thons where I just go off on stupid shit. But tonight is going to be one. I'm probably not going to go for 3 hours, but there's been a lot of back and forth in the veteran community, and I feel like we need as a unit to talk about this. And I think it'll be good. It'll hopefully be a good discussion. Todd Forrester said that hopes we talk about something important this time. Well, hopefully VA benefits and veterans benefits are important to you anyway. If they're not, then fuck off, I guess. But they're important to me and important to a lot of people who listen to this show. So, but yeah, I appreciate you all being here. Steven, what's up, bitches? What's going on, man? Like I said, we had Todd Forrester, Richard Bronco. Everyone's chilling out, man. Thanks. Luz Ramirez Ruda. I don't pronounce your last name, dude. Sorry about it. Mark Glass, thanks for being here. Pookie's chilling out. Yeah, discipline problem, dude. Absolutely. Mold is a discipline issue. So, there's been a lot kind of going on. I work with a VSO in our county. We kind of share an office, share a lot of the people that work for me work for him and stuff. So, we work pretty hand in hand with things, and, have for a couple years now. And I've worked really closely with, the VSOs in the area. And there's been some I don't know, some friction. So kind of want to go through that, talk about some claims things, and I want to be transparent as I can without, I don't know, giving away too much personal information, I guess. But as many of you know, I was medically retired from the Army back in 2014, and went through the combined claims process back then. I know it's changed a little bit, but I want to talk about a little bit about where this is going, and kind of some of the things that are happening behind the scenes. I don't know how much everyone follows it, but it could have a big effect on you as a veteran, kind of moving forward. So I thought that was something we should talk about tonight. So we'll get started on that. Hopefully it's not a discipline problem, but we'll talk about it. The first thing I want to hit on there is how this whole thing started. Okay, how this whole thing kind of got going, at least for me. I follow a lot of different news sources. Okay, I followed several different things, and this one popped up. I was actually checking out some Ukraine stuff, and it's from a publication called The Hill. It's kind of right-leaning. It is what it is. And this is an op-ed in there, an opinion, written by a couple officers, a guy named Kyle Greenberg and a Mark Duggan. Duggan. I don't give a shit how to pronounce his name. Anyway, the title is called "How Runaway Disability Compensation is Straining Veteran Affairs." And in it basically talks about how from the year 2000 to the year 2022, the overall VA budget has grown from $76 billion to $267 billion. despite a decline in the number of veterans. Well, I think these guys kind of don't remember what happened between 2000 and 2022, like Infinity War, all that bullshit, like Pookie was talking about our discipline problem. And there was an interesting study that was going on when I was going through the claims process back in 2014, how there was some problems with the VA because a lot of the wounds that we were surviving with in previous wars would have resulted in a KIA, right? With updates in body armor, updates in armored vehicles, updates with, in all of our kit. A lot of the wounds that we would sustain, which left us wounded, would have killed us in the Second World War or Vietnam. And then, medevac times being better than they were, especially in the Second World War, but, also in Vietnam. And you're not landing a Black Hawk. There wasn't a whole lot of hot LZs in Iraq. There was some in Afghanistan. You can ask CQ about it. But, I mean, and not saying there was never any hot LZs, but it's not like it was in Vietnam where they were, pretty well targeted. So there's a lot of servicemen coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq who, like I said, like with me, when I got blowed up, if I'd have got blowed up in World War II, I'd have been dead. Everyone in my truck would have been dead. And I wouldn't be here having this conversation. Well, we didn't have the internet either. We won't talk about that. But, from after the year 2000 to 2022, we had a great influx of veterans who were wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan. We've had guys who are finally getting help from Vietnam with Agent Orange and stuff and Gulf War syndrome and stuff. So I'm not going to read the whole article because it pisses me off. But basically it has a bunch of charts and numbers and everything. And if you just read the numbers, it sounds like we're spending a lot of money on veterans, but a couple caveats to that. Cause I know people love that word. I feel, this is radar, that, and I think a lot of people will agree with me, those guys coming back from Vietnam or coming back from the Second World War and coming back from Desert Storm got kind of shafted by the VA. They kind of fucked. And I know that generation, especially, like my grandfather generation, that greatest generation, World War II vets, were, very much rub dirt in it. Fucking get up, suck it up, drive on. Fucking figure it out. But, and I agree, I don't disagree with that, right? But I think that the way that the process is set up, okay, there's a lot of vetting that goes on. I don't know if anyone's ever filed a VA claim, but it's not an easy process. You're still going to be like, hey man, I got hurt, and they give you a bunch of money. It's not that. And even if you get 100%, you're not getting rich off the VA. Okay. Secondly, we have a lot of guys who are fucked up. If you're fucked up and the military fucked you up, they should fucking pay for it. Right? I don't think anybody in any fucking hall of Congress or fucking state legislature or walking down the fucking street. Yeah, Pookie, how many vets are still homeless? I think the VA budget should double from what it is now. We have all of these things, right? How many vets are waiting on beds at fucking homeless in the homeless shelters, in the veteran homeless shelters? How many vets are waiting on beds in fucking veteran treatment facilities because they're addicted to drugs and alcohol and every other fucking thing else? Because that's how they're self-medicating their PTSD, right? We have all different kinds of issues that the VA is still not taking care of. I don't have this problem at my VA facility. Okay. So I'm not going to say about my VA facilities. Everybody's local facility is different. Okay. My personal backlog time for primary care is about 2 weeks. If I call down or get on my Healthy Vet and try to schedule a primary care visit, give or take 2 weeks. If I need to be seen by a specialist, it's been my experience at my local VA between 3 weeks and 3 months, depending on the specialty. Okay. I've been really lucky. My VA is pretty good. I don't have to wait a fucking year to be seen by an orthopedic surgeon or by a gastroenterologist or anything like that. I don't have to wait 6 months to be seen by a primary care, but there are facilities that's the issue, especially with behavioral health. But that's me. That's my experience. Dick says his VA is amazing. You get in pretty quick. And been in the emergency room, waited about 20 minutes. This is about the same for my VA. Like I said, if I want to get seen by a primary care, it's about 2 weeks, give or take. Probably, obviously, longer now with the holidays coming up, whatever. But I mean, that's just everyone's experience will differ. But I think the VA is drastically in front of the way it is, and I'm not going to blame veterans who were injured in the line of duty, whether that was a combat injury or a non-combat injury. You don't have to go to Iraq or Afghanistan or Vietnam or the first Gulf War and get a Purple Heart to be seen by the VA. If you have an injury that occurred to you during your time in service, you should be treated for that. If it's something, you fucked up your knee when you were running your PFT and then they did knee surgery and it's all fine now, great, good for you. But fucking drive on. Good for you. I'm not saying that every person who gets a fucking ingrown toenail should get fucking compensated by the VA for the rest of their life. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that everybody who fucking, went to Iraq or Afghanistan deserves to be 100% P&T from the fucking VA. I'm not saying that either. But if you're fucked up, the military should fucking pay for it. Sorry about it. They shouldn't have, none of us, I'm not going to say that. There are people who volunteer to go to, I volunteered to go overseas. But what I'm saying is, I got blowed up, they should pay for it. I think if people are in that boat, if you got hurt and you are permanently disabled from it, and there's different levels. I'm not saying, like I said, not everybody is 100% permanent disabled from the VA. I understand that. And if you keep throwing, this is going to parlay into the next thing. But I don't believe that everybody's 100%. Some people are only 50%, 60%, 70%, 30%. Take what you can get. Take what you are actually injured or disabled, right? And that's your fucking rating. If something gets worse, then we get reevaluated. If you go in there and you try to say, "Oh, I have all these problems," you're gonna go to exams. They're going to see if your knee bends. They're going to see if your back bends. They're going to see if you go and claim mental health and you've never been to the fucking psychiatrist or psychologist or been treated for mental health. They're not going to give you a rating for mental health. Use the VA to be seen to get help. If you have an issue, now with the PACT Act, it's a whole lot easier to be seen out in town. Get the help you need, because I promise you, no amount of money is going to keep a fucking gun out of your mouth. If you are having mental health issues, get with a mental health provider and get the help you need. Don't fight with the VA about trying to get money. Get that later. Get the help you need. But if you have an injury, if you're trying to claim an injury and you don't have it, they're not going to pay you. And they shouldn't pay you. I will get on that bandwagon. If you just think, I'm going to start throwing shit against the wall and see what sticks, then no. Then you're not disabled and you don't need to fucking get a rating. If you got hurt and they fucked you up, they should pay you. If not, fuck off. Sorry about it. Pookie said he's been on both sides. Florida VA was on point. Virginia VA was iffy. Yep. Yeah, Dick said when he was in Dallas Fort Worth, everything you heard bad wasn't a rumor. I believe that, and I think that that's a problem with larger metropolises, that more metropolitan areas have issue treating the veteran population as larger, right? And they don't have the facilities, right? I have a pretty big facility, and I'm in fucking BFE, so it's not an issue for me to be seen, and that's demographics. Sorry about it. I mean. I feel badly. I feel like every veteran should be able to access their VA, the Veterans Administration Healthcare. Absolutely. 100%. I wholeheartedly believe that. If you are entitled to VA care, you should be using it. For a long time, I didn't use the VA because I had private health insurance. And I would go to the normal doctor and I would pay my copay and I would do all my things and I'd do everything I need to do, whether it's for my connected disabilities or not. If it was for I'm service connected for my knee, right? My knee's all fucked up. I had a bunch of surgeries on it. I would go to the doctor and pay my $100 copay to get a shot in my knee. I didn't need to do that. I should have been using the VA. Whatever. Anyway, if you ever hear somebody, and I will make this argument until I'm fucking blue in the face or orange in the hoodie, that veterans who should be getting compensated are not bankrupting the VA. Period. And if you think that the VA medical system, if politicians think the VA medical system is perfect, then they are fucking wrong. To this day, wrong. You're the only viewer in one thing, Todd. I have about 200 total. So go to US Army WTF Moments. There's more there. And there's more on YouTube. Sorry about it. Anyway, right now, the VA has about a 4-month lead time on claims. Ish. Depending on the type of claim, what you're claiming, how fast you can get a CMP exam, all that stuff. It's about 4 months or so, 5 months. Yeah, Pookie, you're right. You signed a contract. They promise compensation if they messed you up. Get fixed and get that compensation, absolutely. And don't feel guilty about it. Dick, you just had one go through in about 2 months. I had my CMP exam about 3 months ago, and I'm still waiting. But it just depends. It all depends on the raters and where they're at, which is fine. You know what I mean? Before, it used to take a fucking year almost before you got a decision back from the VA. So I've been waiting 2 months for update on my dependents. Oh, I miss you too, buddy. But yeah, we just, as veterans, I feel like we keep getting the shaft. Yeah, get your hearing checked. Absolutely. I have mine out, but I've got mine right here. My hearing aids. I have to take them out for my headphones. Absolutely, get them. They're fantastic. I am service connected for my ears. If you're service connected for your ears, for either tinnitus or for whatever, yeah, do that. Get a hearing aid. And the hearing test they did for me was awesome because they didn't just do the fucking beeps. They actually have like talking in each ear and around, and they have different frequencies and stuff, and you have to repeat what the people say, and it's way fucking harder than the beeps. They just kind of fucking push the button. You're in the fucking thing, holding the thing. Maybe I'm hearing things, maybe I'm not. No, it's way more realistic, and it's good. And hearing aids are fucking expensive. But if you are service connected at all, even if you have 0% for hearing loss, or 0% for tinnitus, or 10% for tinnitus, then you should get hearing aids. They have greatly affected my life, my quality of life, 100%. Of all of the shit the VA's ever done for me, to include paying me, those hearing aids have the most drastic change in my life has been those hearing aids. If you were around artillery or tanks or fucking anything like that, helicopters, jets, you should at least have a 0% rating for hearing loss. Or a 10% for tinnitus, or 0% for tinnitus, or some shit like that on your fucking deal. If you have that, get hearing aids if you think you need them. If you don't think you need them, get the hearing test and see if you need them, because they are fucking life-changing. I didn't know the noises my car made when I drove it. Yeah, and you can take them out if you don't want to hear people. Actually, I have an app on my phone. I can turn them off on my phone. I don't have to interrupt shit. I can just look like I'm fucking checking a text message, turn my fucking shit off on my phone. I see you. Great. It's fucking fantastic. They're by far the best thing the VA's ever given me. Now, back to the story. Dick said his update on dependents went through instantly when I did it. I did the form online and it still says submitted. I did the form online, still says submitted. So hasn't even been reviewed yet. Speaking of that, we're going to get into that. Okay. So This one's from Military Times. Okay, and I want to read this, and it's going to go into a VFW poster. And actually, you know what? I'll put the poster up now while I'm talking. And no, I'll wait. I'll do it when I do the next story. So this is from Military Times, dated 13 November. Veterans tap businesses for VA disability claims help, but there's a cost. So it goes through, tells a story about when Navy veteran Melissa Washington wanted to reapply for an increase in her disability benefits. She selected a for-profit firm, Veteran Benefits Guide, to cut down on the paperwork and preparation she'd have to do herself. Quote, I knew a lot of people who had already been through the process, and I wanted to try for myself, said Washington, who runs the Women's Veteran Alliance in Sacramento. It was all laid out clearly, the fees, the procedures, they helped me get a 100% rating, and it was all very professional. The 51-year-old who had been out of the service for almost 30 years, so the process cost her a few $100s and just a few months of waiting. She said she'll recommend the process to friends and clients interested in helping vets with their claims. Veterans advocates groups say it's illegal. These for-profit companies have never tried to play by the rules, said Ryan Galacucci, executive director of the VFW. They are predatory consulting agreements that can be perpetual and nonsensical. Companies are spending millions on advertising their services to veterans, even as we see lawsuits piling up against them. I don't know. He said, quote, I don't know how many of them legitimately say their service is a real value to veterans, end quote. The legality surrounding firms that provide assistance in preparing veterans' disability paperwork has been an issue in the veteran community for years. But the problems are coming into new focus with last year's passage of the Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxins Act, better known as the PACT Act, which massively expanded eligibility for disability payouts to former military members exposed to burn pit smoke and other toxins in their time in service. The legislation led to record levels of claims filed and benefits awarded. VA said they have received more than 2.4 million applications in fiscal year 23, up 39% from the previous year. The department paid out $163 billion in benefits, also an all-time high. So, the PACT Act, as we talked about, we've talked about a couple times on this show. We have had in the PACT Act, there's a bunch of we call them presumptive conditions, and I'm not going to go through them right now, but it's everything from irritable bowel syndrome to Agent Orange exposure and cancers and COPD is one, all different kinds of things, right? And if you feel like you have one of these conditions, if you go to va.gov PACT Act, they will tell you what's now presumptive conditions, okay? Now, in those presumptive conditions, if you have one of those and you've been diagnosed with one of those and you were in each area has different dates. So like for Iraq, for instance, it's like, was it like 5 August 1990 until present? If you were there, if you were in Iraq, you were potentially exposed to these things. So you potentially have these problems. Okay. Same with Afghanistan. Same with Kuwait, Egypt. If you were anywhere in the Middle East from these dates, Vietnam from these dates to these dates, or the airspace overhead, or they have all different kinds of things, right? You're potentially exposed to these chemicals, these problems, these issues. You might have these medical problems. If you have one of those, you've been diagnosed with X, Y, or Z, you will be awarded compensation. Now, the VA compensation process, okay, is pretty straightforward. If you have these conditions and you have these symptoms, then you're awarded this percent. Okay. Everything, there's a piece of law called the 38 CFR. Okay. In that, those are the regulations that deal with veterans' compensation benefits, right? And each condition has a diagnostics code. And then it has a rating system for mental health issues or for gastrointestinal issues or for anything, you name it. If you lose a hand, you get this much money. If you lose an eye, you lose this much money. If you have erectile dysfunction, you get this money. Whatever it is, okay, is listed in there. And so when you go to your comp and pen exam, or you can do this on a civilian side too, you can get what's called a DBQ, Disability Benefits Questionnaire, and it's listed for each thing you're claiming, okay? And it'll say, do you have trouble sleeping? Do you miss work? How often do you miss work? Do you, whatever, if you've ever been in a CMP exam, you know the questions they ask. Do you miss work? Do you do this? They're going down the DBQ and asking these questions. And if you answer yes or no to these questions, that determines your disability rating. Okay. What these companies basically do is hire a doctor to fill out a DBQ for you. It's one of the things they offer. Okay. If you can't find medical evidence, they'll give you the medical evidence. There are some of these places are really shady. I'm not saying they all are. Okay. I'm not saying they all are. Some of them are pretty fucking shady. They'll advertise, if you don't have the medical fucking history, let us know. We'll find it for you. Oh, you'll find it for me? How are you going to magically fucking find medical evidence for me? That means they make it up. Right? You go fucking magically find medical evidence, right? Now, I'm not saying that all these places are bad, okay? And I strongly believe that if you are going to file a VA claim, you should have the evidence. You should be educated. And you should be able to provide the evidence that they're going to ask for, okay? If you are going to update your dependents, okay, I had to update my dependents. I never did when I got married a couple years ago. Never did. Okay? So what I did is I went, finally, and added my wife and her kids onto my dependents list, right? So when I did that, you can just do it. You can just fill the shit, send it off. And they'll look through. They have access to your fucking marriage certificate and everything. Or you can upload all those documents when you do it. Boom. They fucking have it when they review it. Oh, yep, sure does. Here you go. I have a couple kids in college. So they can look at, though, I went through and I did I got the letters and everything that's signed by the college saying, yep, they're enrolled in college. Here's their grade point average. They got to send in some shit. They signed it. Sent that up. I uploaded all that stuff, right? Yeah, Dick, you can do it online. It's super simple. You've seen their social security numbers. I did that. But these were from my married kids, my stepchildren. So I had to do all of the other paperwork too. I had to do the marriage certificate, the birth certificates, and when you do that, you have to say who their birth father is, and all. It's a more of an involved process than your own kids. But if you have your own kid, you can get on there, type in social security number. This is my wife's kid. Me and my wife. We had this kid. They don't give a shit. Now, do the same thing with if you have, okay, we'll go back. PACT Act. Irritable bowel syndrome is one of the presumptive conditions for the, whatchamacallit. IBS is presumptive for Iraq War veterans from the first Gulf War until now. Okay. If you shit 10 times a day, right? And you file for IBS. You've been diagnosed through the VA or through your normal doctor. You take meds for it, whatever. Get on va.gov, set up an account. You can do it all yourself and say, I have IBS. Here's my medical record saying, Sergeant Radar was diagnosed with IBS in 2014, and he's an Iraq War veteran, and you turn the paperwork, you're done. And then someone will review it. They'll have you go to a comp and pen physical. They make sure you have it. They'll ask you a bunch of questions. Or you can do the DBQ. You can go to your own doctor and hand them the DBQ. They'll fill it out, sign it, stamp it. Hey, I'm Dr. Radar. Yep, I got it. Here you go. And that might slow down, that might speed up some of the issue. But here's the thing. These people, if they promise you they can expedite the process, it's just slightly. Because they don't approve it. The VA approves your stuff. And they will have doctors write nexus letters. You have to have, in order to win a VA claim, you have to have a diagnosed condition. You have to have symptoms. And you have to have a nexus to your service. Okay. Something that You got blowed up. You have medical evidence in your fucking military medical records that said you got concussion, and now you've had headaches. You went to the military, has it in your shit, right? And oh, but yeah, I had headaches for the last 2 years in the fucking army. Yeah, you probably have headaches from that, right? Or you had IBS, or you had whatever you had. But you have to have some tie to that service, especially if you've been out for a while. Okay, but they pay for all that. That's part of the service you pay for when you do that. Is it easier? Maybe. Now, problem is the pay scale. Some of these places charge exorbitant amounts for you to file your VA claim. Because they don't actually file the claim. They can't do that. These high dollar joints, they're not accredited through the VA because they're kind of shady fucking companies, right? So the VA won't give them accreditation to actually file your claim. There is a handful of organizations that you can go to that will do the whole thing for you, okay? Your county or local VSO, Veteran Service Officer. And that's different per state, but most states have at least one per county. What's called a VSO, Veteran Service Officer. If you need to get help, you can go there. The American Legion and the Veterans of Foreign Wars all have VSOs that you can go to. If you go to your local VFW, if you're a member of the VFW, you don't have to be a member, I don't think. I think if you just go in there and say, I'm a veteran, I need help filing a disability claim, they have VA accredited VSOs who can file your claim for you, who can help you search for evidence. Now, I think the argument with these businesses are, okay, that the not-for-profit, your VSOs, whether it be from the VA or county VSOs, whatever. I've watched some YouTube videos. This is what kind of pissed me off about this, while we're talking about it, because something came up on my YouTube about it. They're fucking, well, when your VSO works for the VA and they don't always have your best interests in mind. No, that's bullshit. Every VSO is a veteran. That's a prerequisite for the job. You have to be a veteran to be a VSO, at least a county VSO. You have to. That's written legislation that pays the bills for that. Some VSOs are more knowledgeable than others. Yes. Some VSOs care more than others. Yes. 100%. They absolutely do. I'm not saying that every VSO is great. I'm not saying that. The VSO doesn't work for the VA. They may have an office there, but they don't get paid by the VA as far as I know. Now, my county gets funding from the feds to pay the salary for the VSO. That's the way it works in Meade County, South Dakota. In South Dakota counties, how that work. They divvy it up different ways, but they don't, you're right, Dick, they don't work for the VA. They work for the veterans. The VA, the president of the VA, or all the people in charge of the VA, they actually are trying, maybe successfully, maybe not. In your eyes, depending on who you are and where you're at and everything you see and do, your experience may differ. But the general consensus at the Department of Veterans Affairs is the desire to help veterans. Whether you agree with that statement or not, it has gotten considerably better, and I think everybody can agree to that. Not every single person is there. Some people are there to collect a fucking paycheck. One of the VSOs around here is there to collect a fucking paycheck. It's almost impossible to get a hold of the dude. You don't like his fucking service? Go to a different county. They've got him. Go to the VFW. Go to the Legion. And there's other DAV's got some, and they're all accredited. They can actually file your claim for you. You do a power of attorney, they can file your claim for you. But here's the thing. It's your claim. We have all learned, if you are trying to get the claims process from the VA, we have all been in the military. Your career is your responsibility. Your claim is your responsibility, ultimately. This gets back to what we talked about earlier. If you were hurt and you are still injured or have residual effects from your injury caused by your service. If a condition you have was aggravated by the service, if you have an injury that was aggravated by the service, that is why you go to MEPS before you ship for basic training or boot camp or whatever the fuck you go to. When you go to MEPS and those doctors make you fucking shake your balls everywhere and walk fucking dumb and do all this dumb shit, they are vetting you to make sure that you are 100% ready to go, that you are free of defect. That's why it's an extensive process. So, if you are good before you go in, and then sometime that time you're in, you get fucked up, then when you get out, you're fucked up, it happened due to your military service. That's the way they look at it. So if you are fucked up when you get out, you should claim it. Now, that is on you. The VA is not going to make a claim for you. They may not find the evidence that you have, especially if you have evidence that you know exactly where it's at. Yeah, I got old. That's right. Some of that is you just get fucking old too. Now, but here's what I'm saying. Okay? If you have fucking now in the age of electronics and digital recording and stuff, if you have fucking video of you getting blowed up or getting hurt, if you have fucking in your medical record, you know what day you got blowed up or you got hurt. If you know whatever, you can pull that out and pull up that page. Hey, look, on August 16th of 2008, I got this. Look, here, it's my medical record. Here you go. Boom. And it makes your claim go faster. It makes your claim expedite. It makes it easier for you to prove what you're claiming. Like Dick said, a lot of people blame the VSO because they didn't get a claim approved and they didn't get the rate in the first place. Yes. That's true. And the VA does do that. I hate saying this, but sometimes the VA fucking downplays your shit. And that's where these claims consultants groups are good at. They have you write a strong personal statement saying, look, dude, this is what happened. And this is how it affects my daily life to this day. This is how it hurts me. But you can do that on your own. You don't got to pay someone fucking thousands of dollars to do that for you. You can do it on your own. And this is where it becomes getting, hi, Jane. Sorry, we're going off on the VA. But that is where it takes you being responsible enough to file your claim and getting your shit together and researching how to file a claim. And then working with the VSO. He doesn't work for you. You work with him and give him all the evidence to make your claim go better. He will try to find it. But he's got 70 people he's trying to file claims for. If you can do some of the legwork yourself, it makes it go way faster. And you don't got to pay these dudes thousands of fucking dollars to do it. You know what I mean? Take care of your own shit. Do a DBQ. Get a personal statement. And watch a couple of YouTube videos. Google it. There are people on YouTube who will help you for free. And not all of these consulting firms charge thousands of dollars. Some of them charge like, oh, hey, go to my, there's one dude, his name's Combat Craig, Air Force. He probably never saw combat. Dude's in the Air Force. Sorry about it, Air Force guys. But that's his name on YouTube. And he's like, here's how you do this shit. But if you want to learn more, enroll in my course, a couple $100. Da-da-da-da-da-da. There are other companies, right, that provide services for much less. Or you can get the VSO and do it for a while, do it for free, or, and that VSO, like I said, that VSO may or may not be knowledgeable. I'm not trying to bash on all VSOs. I think they're good people. I think they're out for the better and they're getting better, but you do not need to spend thousands of dollars to get your VA claim handled. This is the statement that the VFW put out, and I'll make it bigger so I can read it. It's small on my screen here, but it says basically, don't feed the sharks. What is a claim shark? A claim shark is an individual or company. Where'd it go? Is an individual or company that charges hefty fees to assist or consult veterans with filing their VA benefit claims. This practice is illegal. Claim sharks are not VA accredited, meaning they aren't required to adhere to the well-established professional and ethical standards of VA accreditation, so their advice can often be misleading and even fraudulent. Like a loan shark, once you're in, you can't get out and may be subject to new and hidden fees whenever a new rating, no matter who does the work. Now, that is true. So, and they have a list here. It looks kind of shitty. They have a list of these claim sharks. And some of them are probably more predatory than others. Now, do I think you need to go to the VFW for all of your claims help? No, I don't think that. I'm not saying that. But you should not have to pay thousands. Some of these people are charging $10,000, $12,000, $30,000. What some of them are doing is charging a percentage of the back pay. Okay. Which, if you do what they do is what's called an intent to file. Okay. So this is one of the guys that works for me. This is the most predatory thing he did, and he was explaining to me how this worked, and I was just fucking flabbergasted that they did this to this guy. So what happens is, if you go down to say you're having issues with mental health, okay, and you've been diagnosed with PTSD and you got like 30%, you think you should get an increase to 50 or even 100% for PTSD, okay? Or your knee. You got 0% for your knee, well, now it doesn't bend, and now you're wanting to get 30% for your knee, whatever it is, okay? Or you want to file a new claim. You got a PACT Act claim. You can go down and do what's called a intent to file, okay? When you do that intent to file, you lock in that date. And that date from your intent to file is the day that you will get back paid to. Okay? For most of us. If you're in there's a certain time, if you're just getting out of the service, if you're just getting out, you have a year, and everything's presumptive in that year. If you're past that year, you got to prove that it happened in service. We're not going to get into that. And but if you're in that year, they'll backdate it to your ETS. We're not going to get into that. For the most part, what most of us are going to do is go down and do an intent to file. What this guy did, he went to one of these claims consultants people. I don't know which one it was. I don't recall. I did it one time, but I don't recall now. They did an intent to file that day, like they should have, or showed him how to do it on his computer, how to do an intent to file, because they can't actually do it. Okay. Put an intent to file. Okay. Then they kept dragging it out. And they'd get a hold of him after a couple of months, be like, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to do this. You have 1 year to file from that intent to file. And after that year, he filed. They had him file finally. They got everything put together. Took him a while to get all the doctor statements and all these statements put together and da-da-da. Well, lo and behold, it's like 3 days before his intent to file expires, then they have him file it. And then it takes, depending on what you're filing and depending on how busy the people are, it can take a few months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. It took him about 6 months. 18 months later, okay, went from like 30% to 100%. So I went from like fucking $800 a month to like $4,000 a month or whatever he got. You get a $3,000 a month times 18 months. That's a pretty good fucking check. And then they took 50% of his back paycheck. 50%. They took like $30,000 from this dude. Let's do some math quick. And I'm just going to fucking do some quick figuring because I ain't very smart. So we'll say he got about $2,500 a month times 18 months. It's $45,000. They took fucking half of that. So he got $22,500, which is still a fucking good check, but they got $22,500. To fucking drag his ass out and make him wait a fucking year. They got him to 100%. They did get him to 100%, but at what cost? You know what I mean? If you do this right, he would have got all that $45,000. Fucking suck it up. Or whatever it was. I made that number up, but it was somewhere in that neighborhood. We'll go from 30% to 100%. So these are all things. If you want to talk to an accredited VSO, and if you want to use one of these companies, I'm not telling you don't. If that's the route you want to take, if you have tried a VSO, and like Dick said, I should get 100% because I've fucking fucked up my knee one time. If that's what you think, dude, look at the 38 CFR. Most you get for a knee is like 30%. You think you deserve 100? And there are people who will try to there are people who are trying to fuck the system, and that's part of the reason it takes so fucking long. They'll get like 10% for tinnitus and then try to claim like 50% or 70% for mental health because they got tinnitus. It doesn't let me work. Hey, fuck around. You know what I mean? It blows my mind. This whole process blows my fucking mind. And then you got people who come in and try to prey on veterans and make it worse. And then you got people in the middle who just generally want to help. Just generally want to help. I am not a VSO. I said I work with one nearly every day. I've got a lot of contacts in that environment, and I will stand up for the people that I know because I know they actually give a shit. I know they actually give a shit about veterans and their families because they are veterans themselves. But they are not perfect. And it is your responsibility. At the end of the day, your claim is your responsibility. And I think that you need to get that. I'm not going to say through your thick skull. I'm not trying to say that. But you need to remember that. That is your responsibility. You are responsible for your own future. And if you file and file and file and file and cannot find the proof you need, that the VA says you need, and you feel like that's the only way to get traction and get help, do it. But I would encourage you to get educated first. I think one thing that I notice is the people who are educated with this. And when I see people come in to the office, waiting for the VSO, and I start talking to them for a little bit, and they're like, yeah, man, I got high blood pressure, and I got this, and I got all this stuff, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Where's your logs? One of the first things, one of the things, I have 0% on my deal for hypertension. And I wanted to get an increase in hypertension. And the VA, Department of Veterans Affairs, gave me a machine that takes my blood pressure every day. Just put it on my cuff, push a button, take my blood pressure. Because I wanted to adjust my meds, which my meds need to adjust. My blood pressure is still pretty high. It's still pretty high. It's still, to this day, is high. And there is, in that, on the 38 CFR, there is a schedule. If your, blood pressure is this, then it's at this percentage of rating. If your blood pressure is here, it's this percent of rating. According to the numbers, mine should be at 30%. I was at 0%, so I filed for an increase. Radar, had the log that the VA had me fill out. I had 4 months of logs that I submitted with my claim. So when I went to my CMP exam for high blood pressure, and I showed that lady my logs, and it's pretty cut and dry in the 38 CFR. If your blood pressure is this average, this is what you get. Well, it should be 30%, not 0. If you have that kind of evidence and you look at the regulation, if you Google it, read it, and just Google something simple like, what is the VA criteria for compensation for hypertension or high blood pressure? And it fucking comes up. Comes up what it is. If your blood pressure is this to this, you get this. If your blood pressure is this to this, you get this. Perfect. That's all you got to do. No argument. No fucking bullshit. You turn in the log, there it is. But if you just go and say, I have high blood pressure, and you walk the fuck out, how you supposed to get? I have PTSD. Okay, show me. Anybody can walk in and say they got PTSD. I'm not saying people ain't walking around with undiagnosed PTSD, but if you want to claim something like PTSD, you have to go to the head shrinker and you have to get diagnosed with it. You have to have a current diagnosis. If you go to My Healthy Vet, if you go to the VA, you go to My Healthy Vet, and you can get a list of what's called problems on your problems. That's what it's called, problems. But that's your current diagnosis. That'll say, okay, you have high blood pressure, you have GERD, you have left knee pain, you have migraines, you have obesity, you have high blood pressure, you have diabetes, whatever your fuck problems are. It's all listed right there. If it's listed there, and it's a fucking presumptive condition, boom, guess what? Sign me up. If you don't, you don't. If you think you have something, go to the doctor, get diagnosed with it. We can't just go and be like, oh, I have PTSD, I have high blood pressure, I have fucking erectile dysfunction, bye, see ya. And expect to get a fucking check every month. That's not how the fucking works. You gotta provide evidence. I don't know how to provide evidence for erectile dysfunction, a log, I guess. But if you go in there with logs for shit like migraines, if you have sleep apnea, if you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea, and you have a CPAP machine, that's 50%. Period. That's in the 38 CFR. They're trying to change that. But if you went to the VA, had a sleep study, were diagnosed with sleep apnea, you should be at a 50% disability rating. As long as you can tie that to your service or tie it to another service-connected condition, then it's you can claim it as a secondary condition, which is possible too. And these are all things that a VSO will help you walk through and tell you what evidence to get. Okay, you have PTSD. There's some documentation that states there's a correlation between PTSD and sleep apnea. Oh, your back was broken and you have a bunch of money you're diagnosed with fucking this and this and this and this for your back. Well, now you can no longer PT, so now you're obese. Obesity causes sleep apnea. You can service connect it that way. And you get a letter saying, yeah, this more likely than not, this is what happened. Well, there you go. Congratulations. Now you're tied up with sleep apnea. But these are all things that you need to do. You can't just throw some shit on the fucking VSO's desk and walk away and expect 100%. That's how it works. So I can rattle on about this all night. I can. I'm not going to. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here. I want everyone to get the compensation they feel. No, I'm not going to say that. I feel like everybody should get the compensation they deserve. You earned it. If you were injured in Iraq or Afghanistan or on active duty, or if you were in the National Guard and you were injured at drill weekend or whatever, get a line of duty shit, right? But if the military broke you, the military should pay you. I 100% agree with that. So go see your VSO, go see your peeps, and get that shit handled. If you feel like you're not getting traction with that, whatever VSO you're seeing, if you're going to the county VSO, you're not getting help, go to the VFW. If you're still not getting help, you want to risk getting a bunch of money taken from you, go to one of those places. I'm not telling you don't, but there are other options than paying thousands of dollars to get the help that you deserve. Now, you need to make sure that you're actually hurt. You actually rate the compensation. The VA will do everything they can to weed you out. So if you start claiming a bunch of bullshit and they figure out that you're full of shit, you're not getting a fucking penny for any of it. You might actually have something, but they're going to fucking deny all of it because you're caught fucking lying to them. Be careful about that too. Only claim shit that actually is wrong with you. Because you will see doctors. They will look at your medical records. And if you're fucking lying to them, they'll fuck you up. So I am going to call it a night. I said I'm going to do about an hour. Here's my hour. And we are, I'm really happy that everyone came here tonight to listen to my TED Talk or whatever. And next week we have our guest. believe. Hold on, let me double check. I think next week's our guest. Who they changed the icon for that? Tight. My mail icon changed. I'm happy about that. I believe it's next week. Let me check. I'm checking the calendar. Usually this is a Terran thing, a TZ thing, but I'm not very smart. Doug Smith. Yeah. Doug Smith will be here next week. He's a comedian, and I'm really looking forward to him. He's a veteran. Good times. I like comedians. Comedians are funny. I about to retire and start that process. I can still do physical activities and everything, but I feel like shit the next day more than just soreness. Is that justification for disability? Possibly. If you have a diagnosis for something, here's what I would do. Is I would go to the doc and tell them what you just told me. One of the issues, I'm assuming, if you're just getting ready to retire, you probably went to Iraq or Afghanistan, somewhere, deployed somewhere. One of the issues with that is it was called chronic fatigue syndrome. And chronic fatigue syndrome is basically what you were just describing. And also too, like someone said earlier, it's getting old. I mean, like, dude, I'm fucking in my 40s now, and shit that I used to be fucking easy is pretty tough. I hope that's not just it. But if you have ever had an issue, dude, I would definitely go down and check it out. If you know, maybe it's just you getting old and you feel like shit. Sorry, I mean, or maybe you have something actually wrong with you. Yeah, if you have sleep apnea and plantar fasciitis, absolutely, and you're diagnosed with that now, so if you have no problem getting it, fucking see if you have anything respiratory wrong with you, like some COPD kind of issues or something. If you were deployed downrange, you might have issues like that. That's can explain some of that stuff too. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to diagnose you with a thing, but you know, there's lots of stuff that is, I mean, honestly right now, whatever if you have problems with your knees, problem with your back, problem with your shoulders, problem with your neck, problem with your sleep. If you've been diagnosed with PTSD or anything like that, dude, you can see about it. But yeah, I would at least get that plantar fasciitis and sleep apnea done. It's depending on your plantar fasciitis, how they rate it. I mean, you're looking at 50% right there. Now, here's the other thing too. If you're going to retire, they do some weird stuff with that. Like I said, I was medically retired, right? So I get 3 checks every month. Okay. I get a partial check from the Army. I get a check from the VA. And I get what's called CRSC. It's Combat Related Special Compensation. I was awarded that because I was injured downrange. Now, so your retirement will be taxed. Your VA compensation is not taxed. So say you get $5,000 a month for your retirement. I don't know anything about your service, but I'm just going to throw a number there, $5,000. I'll give you my numbers, okay? I get $2,400 a month ish, give or take. Okay. And then I get $1,900 from the VA. So they take that money out of my retirement and give that to me as VA money. So retirement is taxed. VA is not taxed. My retirement's not taxed because 2 reasons. 1, I live in South Dakota. And then 2, I was wounded in Iraq. So it happened in a tax-free zone. So it's a little bit different because of what happened to me. But being said, that's generally what they'll do. So if you get a VA portion, whatever your VA portion will be, if your retirement is more than that, then you will just get a VA portion taken out of that. If you move somewhere where your income is not taxed, or if your home record is not taxed, say South Dakota, Texas, say you're a resident of Texas. Texas doesn't tax military income or state income tax, right? So you're not really gaining or losing anything by having it taxed, be it come from the VA or come from your retirement. Now, if you can get 100%, then sometimes, and this is depending on your exact circumstances, but some of your retirement pay may be offset. So, or won't be offset. So if you get $5,000 in retirement and then $1,900 from the VA or whatever, I don't even know what 100% for a single person is. And it depends on your dependents, everything else. We'll just say $2,000. You can get that on top of your retirement. That's a whole other situation. And I don't want to give you numbers exactly out there, but hopefully that'd be cool. I want to make sure you compensate, but I don't want those shitheads to claim shit that's not there. Then don't. Just claim what you got. Claim what you got. Go when you do your final physical, or before you get your final physical, get all of the shit you can. Get it all documented. You know, if you're having issues after your run, because after you quit running every day, it's going to get worse. What worries me about the VA is my pushes is still all at 1, and this is all documented. So the docs know, but I've never been on profile for it. Something about NCOs doing PD soldiers. I get that. Okay. Even though you're all at ones, you're ones all the way across, doesn't mean you don't have injuries. Right? Just because you can PT, and this is where the VA will compensate you if you cannot perform in a physical environment or like a job environment, right? If you're, I don't know, how do I put this out with like being political, but not being shitty about it. If you can show that whatever your ailment is has a negative effect on your ability to function in the civilian environment, whether that be PTSD or your plantar fasciitis or anything, eyesight, hearing. If you have tinnitus, if you have ringing in your ears, you spent 20 years, 25 years working on fucking helicopters, and now you can't hear anything. That you may not notice that, but that's something, do that stuff. Get all that stuff figured out before you get out. Because I promise you, when you were 17, you could hear way better than you could now, right? When you join the army, you could probably hear pretty good. Now you're fucking deaf. That's part of being in the army. Whether you're around if you're just in the motor pool around trucks all day, you're going to go deaf. Or if you're on tanks or helicopters or our business is loud. So you don't have to be all ones, you don't have to be good to go and not be hurt. I don't know. I don't know. I feel bad. I think you have the same mindset a lot of us have when we get out. Is I'm good. I didn't get blowed up. I didn't have this issue. I don't need to go to mental health. I don't need to have this. I don't need to have this. I'm good, man. I'm a hard charger. I don't need to go to medical. I don't get all documented. Because you're going to get out and you're going to realize, how about this out being a dick? You're going to realize how much more fucked up you are than your peers. You are going to get out and you are going to see people who are twice your age, who can still do things that, like, you're going to get up and your bones are going to crack and your knees are going to ache and you're going to hear the popping of a 70-year-old man and you're in your 40s. It's not normal. You know what I mean? Like, don't feel guilty for claiming what you actually have that the Army gave to you. You didn't ask for sleep apnea. You didn't ask for plantar fasciitis. You didn't ask for that stuff. Like, take care of it. Get paid for it. Get compensated for it because they took that from you. And you're going to deal with the after effects of that for the rest of your life. You're going to deal with that for the rest of your life. And the rest of your life is worth a few pennies from the government, I think. That's the way I look at VA compensation. The rest of your life, even if it's just a minor inconvenience, honestly, if you're like, well, I can't run anymore. Well, I don't know. Like I said, to me, it's worth your time. But That's just me and my opinion. So, but what I would recommend you do, Red, is I'd recommend that you go to before you get out, just before you get out, go, don't do it on base, but go to your local VFW off post and talk to them and tell them the same thing you just told me. Hey, I'm planning on getting out 6 months, however long you got for you retire, and say, what do I need to get? I have this and this and this wrong with me. What do I need to what type of evidence do I need to gather? What do you guys need? You know, you can't, I think you can, this is a question too for them. I don't know. You can apply for a certain amount before you get out. You can't get compensated before you get out, but you can apply before you get out. So that way, when you retire, the day you retire, it starts. But I don't know exact time frames and what you can do and what you can't do. That's for an actual VSO. But go to your local VFW or Legion and talk to them and say, hey, I need to talk to a VSO. This is what I got going on, and or DAV or whoever. And the stuff that you talk to them about, from what I understand, that this is the way our office works, is all covered under HIPAA, right? So you may be able to, you know, if you're worried about getting it back to your command or something like that, they can't talk to them about that. So it's part of your medical record. It's part of it. Should be sealed. Now, like I said, if you have any more direct questions like that, I would definitely turn to them. I can help a little bit, but like I said, I'm not accredited, and I don't want to. I just spent 45 minutes bitching about people who don't know what they're talking about it. So I don't want to lead you astray. So, but we'll start wrapping things up here. But yeah, good luck, buddy. Like I said, next week we have a guest. Doug Allen, comedian, will be here. Shooting the shit. He's an old vet. Be good times bullshitting with him. Then you have been listening to, this is Wednesday. This is the Smoke Pit with me, Radar, and usually TZ's here as well. She's my partner. It's making it hard for me to do this by myself. No, I'm just kidding. Tomorrow you'll have Sergeant's Time. They're here every Thursday. It's Ice and Spanky talking about all things Big Army, Reserve, National Guard, all that stuff. Bringing you all kinds of good Sergeant's Time subjects. They'll be here. Friday is Friday Night Freedom. Kaz and Pookie. Everyone's back. Proud, bigger than ever. They're going to be hanging out, shooting the shit. It's good to have Pookie back. He had a little bit of hiatus, and it's good to hear him back. So, Saturday night, the Dawn's a day of no scheduled activities. They will be, we'll be spending the time with our family, so I encourage you to go spend the time with yours. Enjoy the weather while it's still nice out, whatever you guys are doing, you know, enjoy your Saturday. Sunday's a sports bar with the actual King Smith and Coach. I'll be bringing you fantasy football updates and all the sportsing updates, everything that's going on in the world. They'll be bringing you all the good shit. Then Monday is the aptly named Monday edition. It's an edition every Monday. Ice and Massey will be bringing you guys all kinds of current events, probably talking about some Israeli business and some Ukrainian business and whatever else. Fucking politics galore lately. Holy shit. They've been pissing off everybody. Russia, Hamas, everyone's getting all pissed off at us. So now they did fund the government through January so we can get paid through Christmas, boys. Never take that. And then let's see. Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior. CQ, my old show. He was on here a minute ago, kind of shooting the shit. So it's good to have him in. They're talking about some dude. Loki season 2 ended, was way bigger than the Marvels. Sorry about it. Fucking Loki was amazing. If you like Marvel, I think Loki, the second season of Loki, the ending was crazy. If you haven't seen Loki, go watch it. If you like Marvel stuff, if you like superhero stuff, if you like the Avengers and all that, get on, and you have Disney Plus, go on there, watch Loki season 1 and 2 back to back. It is good. It's probably one of the best properties they've had in a long time, probably since Endgame. So it's great. Go watch Loki. It's definitely the best Disney Plus show. I really do think it's probably the best thing since Endgame. So, and then that's on Tuesdays. Circle back to us here at the Smoke Pit every Wednesday. Yeah, dude, I appreciate everyone being here. Sorry about the long rant. Throwing some people under the bus. But moral of the story is take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And if you can help another veteran, do it. 100%. So I appreciate everyone for being here. We're going to close out with Turnpike Troubadours, Southeastern Sun. And we will see you guys next Wednesday. Shots.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.